Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I'm from Amanda Crochets, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful Basketweave Baby Blanket. This blanket measures approximately 34 inches wide by 34 inches long. However, you can always adjust the size to your liking, and you can always make this blanket in a variety of different colors as you desire. So let's begin today's tutorial on making the Basketweave Baby Blanket. Before we begin today's tutorial, I just wanted to do an up-close look at the blanket, and as you can see, it's very textured, and that's due to the stitches that we're going to be using in today's video. And the stitches are a front post and back post double crochet, and by alternating that is what gets that beautiful basket weave texture. So I just wanted to show that before we start today's tutorial. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need 5 skeins of this Bernat Softee Baby, and this is a 5-ounce skein or 140 grams. It's 362 yards or 331 meters. It is 100% acrylic. It's a number 3 lightweight yarn, and the recommended hook size is a US G6 or 4mm crochet hook. This yarn is machine washable and dryable. And I'm using the color mint, so you're going to need 5 skeins of mint. If you would like to use a different yarn, you can use any yarn that you like as long as it's a number 3 lightweight yarn, and likewise you can use whatever color you would like as well. I'm also going to be bumping up my crochet hook to a J10 or 6mm crochet hook for this project. The reason why is I really wanted something very light and airy, and by using a bigger crochet hook with the smaller yarn, you're going to get that desired effect. So let's begin today's tutorial. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need to make a chain of 132. If you would like to make your blanket bigger or smaller, all you would need to do is change up the chain of your blanket. So the multiple for this blanket is 8 plus 4. So that means you're going to take any number and you're going to multiply it by 8. And once you get your desired width, you're going to add 4 more chains to the very end. For this tutorial, I'm just going to be doing a small sample swatch, and I'm going to be doing a starting chain of 28. So again, for my blanket, I made 132 chains. So to make a chain, that loop on your hook does not count. You're going to yarn over your hook and pull through that first loop. So that's 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue until you have a total of 132 chains, or your multiple of 8 plus 4. Okay, so once you have your 132 chains, or your multiple of 8 plus 4, we can begin row 1. For row 1, we're going to make a double crochet into the 3rd chain from your hook. So that loop on your hook does not count. You're going to count 3 chains from your hook. So 1, 2, and 3. And in that 3rd chain, you're going to yarn over your hook, insert your hook into that 3rd chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now if you're a beginner, I highly suggest getting a stitch marker and putting it into the top of that double crochet that you just worked. That's going to help you recognize the very first and very last stitch of each row, and that will help make your rows a lot more even and not skip a stitch. We're going to make 1 double crochet in each of the chains across. So one more time, yarn over your hook, find that next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So continue making 1 double crochet in each of the chains across, and I will meet you at the end of row 1. Okay, so I have my very first row complete, and you have that stitch marker in the very first double crochet. You also want to have a stitch marker in the very last double crochet. So again, that indicates the first and last stitch of each row, and it will help you keep your ends straight. So for row 2, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. And in that very first stitch, we're going to make a half double crochet. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So to make a half double crochet, you're going to yarn over your hook. You're going to insert your hook into that very first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And that is your half double crochet. You're going to insert your stitch marker into the half double crochet stitch. Next, we're going to do a front post double crochet around the next 4 stitches. So yarn over your hook, and instead of going into the top of that stitch, we're going to be working around the post, which is going to be right here. So to make a front post double crochet, you have your yarn over your hook, you're going to insert your hook from right to left, and you're going to go right over that post. So the post is going to be on top of your crochet hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to finish your double crochet as normal. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And with that front post double crochet, it's just going to help bring that stitch forward to make it more textured. So I'll show you one more time. Yarn over your hook, insert your hook from right to left underneath the post of that stitch, so the post is right over your crochet hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And you're just going to do that. So go ahead and do that 2 more times around the post of the next 2 stitches. Okay, so we have our 4 front post double crochets. Now we're going to switch it up and do 1 back post double crochet around the next 4 stitches. So the back post double crochet is going to be very similar to the front post. You're just going to go from behind. So yarn over your hook, find that next stitch, you're going to go behind the stitch, and you're going to go from right to left, and this time your crochet hook's going to go on top of the post. So if you turn your work, your post is going to be behind the stitches. You're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through, and this might be a little bit tricky, so just take your time with it. You're going to have your 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So I'll show you one more time. Yarn over your hook, go from behind and right to left with that stitch right on top or right underneath your crochet hook. You can rotate your work and you can see the post right there. Yarn over, you're going to pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to complete that a total of 4 times. Okay, so when you have your front and back post, your front post stitches are going to be in the front, and then your back post stitches are going to look like this in the back. You're going to repeat this all the way across until you have 1 stitch remaining. So you're going to repeat by making 4 front post double crochets and then 4 back post double crochets until the very end. When you have 1 stitch remaining, I will show you how to end row 2 and move on to row 3. Okay, so I have 1 stitch remaining. In that very last stitch, you're going to go ahead and make a half double crochet. So for each row, you're going to start and end with that half double crochet, and that is the stitch that you're going to mark. So the very first half double crochet and the very last half double crochet. And then once you look at your work, this is what your work's going to look like. So you can already see that pattern starting to form a little bit. For row 3, we're just going to repeat row 2. So you're going to chain 1 and turn. In that very first stitch, go ahead and make a half double crochet. And now we started off with making the 4 front post double crochets. So that's what we're going to start with. So we ended the second row with the back post. So when you switch the work around, everything becomes the opposite. So now we have the front post right here. You're going to yarn over your hook. You're going to go right around that post, and you're going to complete your front post double crochet. And you're going to do that over the next 4 stitches. So just be sure you're working around the posts and not in the top of those stitches, and complete your 4 front post double crochets. And then you can see this is now elongated to be more of a basket weave. The more rows you make, the more you'll see your pattern. Across the next 4 stitches, you're going to make a back post double crochet. So again, you're going to find that next post, and you're just going to work around that post and make a back post double crochet. And again, take your time, as this stitch can be a very tricky stitch if you're not familiar with it. So just take your time with it and keep practicing. I always suggest using a small sample swatch first before you begin a bigger project. That way you can understand how to make this stitch before you commit to a bigger project. Okay, so then you're just going to repeat this all the way across your project or your blanket. You're going to repeat the row, so you're going to go ahead and make 1 front post double crochet across the next 4, 1 back post double crochet along the next 4, and you're going to keep doing that until you have 1 stitch remaining. Go ahead and complete row 3, and I'll show you how to move on to row 4. Okay, so I'm over at the end of row 3. I have 1 stitch remaining, and I'm going to go ahead and make a half double crochet in that very last stitch. So then when you look at your pattern, this is what your blanket is going to start to look like. So for row 4, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn, and we're going to make a half double crochet into that very first stitch. And next we're going to be doing the opposite. We're going to be starting with a back post double crochet around the next 4 stitches, and then we're going to make a front post double crochet around the next 4. So now you have your front post right here. We're going to start with our back post. So once again, yarn over your hook, go from behind, from right to left, right over that post, and go ahead and complete your back post double crochet. And you're going to do this across the next 4 stitches. Okay, so once you have that, you're going to switch over to the front post. So you're going to have the next 4 stitches be your front post double crochet. So you're going to go in the front from right to left, and you're going to have that post underneath your crochet hook, so it's on top. right here and then just complete your front post double crochet. Okay, so when you do the opposite, you can kind of see your textured pattern forming for that basket weave. So you're going to repeat this all the way across. When you see your front post double crochets, you're going to do the back post double crochet, and then when you get to the back post double crochet, you're going to make a front post double crochet in those stitches. Complete this all the way across until you have one stitch remaining, and I'll show you how to end row 4 and move on to row 5. Okay, so I'm over at the end of row 4, and we're going to go ahead and make a half double crochet into that last stitch. So here is what your blanket is going to start to look like. For row 5, we're just going to repeat row 4, so chain 1 and turn. In that very first stitch, go ahead and make a half double crochet, and we're going to start with that back post double crochet, so working around the post from the back, you're going to go ahead and make one back post double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Okay, so around the next 4 stitches, you're going to make a front post double crochet. And you're just going to repeat that all the way across until you have 1 stitch remaining, and in that final stitch you're going to make a half double crochet. And that's pretty much the pattern. So for row 6 and beyond, you're going to repeat rows 2 through 5 consecutively until you have the height of your blanket. So my blanket ended up being about 34 inches, maybe a little less. So you're just going to repeat this until you have a square blanket. If you want to make more rows, you are more than welcome to do that. I ended up making a total of 89 rows for my baby blanket. So again, you're just going to repeat rows 2 through 5 over and over again until your desired height, or until you reach 89 rows. Once you have your 89 rows or your desired height, do not fasten off, as we will begin the blanket border. Okay, so here's what my blanket looks like so far. So once you reach the end of your blanket, we can go ahead and begin the border. So the border is going to be fairly simple. You're just going to do a chain 1 and turn, and you're just going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you're going to make, how to make a single crochet is you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. You're going to make 1 single crochet all the way across the top of your blanket. Okay, so once you get towards the end, you're going to go ahead and find that very last stitch, which is that half double crochet, and you're going to insert your hook, and you're going to make 3 single crochets into that corner, and that's just going to help round out your corner nicely. Then you're going to turn your work, and you're going to be working along the side of your blanket, And you're just going to make your single crochets as evenly as possible. You're going to be going into the end of each of those stitches, and again, just try and make your single crochets as evenly as possible. It might be a little bit tricky, so just take your time with it. As long as your stitches are pretty even, then you should be good to go. And then once you get to your next corner, you're going to go ahead and make 3 single crochets all into that corner. You're going to rotate your blanket, and you're going to be working along the chain of the first row. So work 1 single crochet along the bottom of your blanket. When you get to the very end, you're going to make 3 single crochets. You're going to turn your work. You're going to make 1 single crochet evenly along the sides of your blanket. When you get to the end, I will show you how to end the border and fasten off. Okay, so I'm over at the first corner, and we already have that 1 single crochet. So you're going to add 2 more single crochets to round at that corner. And then to end your border, you're going to go ahead and find that first single crochet. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through the 2 loops on your hook for a slip stitch. You're going to get your yarn and leave a little bit of a tail and cut your yarn off. And I like to yarn over my hook and pull through and tighten. Next, you're going to go ahead and get a tapestry needle, and you're going to insert your yarn into that tapestry needle. And then what I like to do to weave in my ends is kind of just go back and forth in between the stitches to hide my tail. And you're going to do that for all the tails of your project. So I just like to go in between. And then I go back in the opposite direction. You're going to skip this stitch right here because that's where you just came out of. And you're just going to go ahead and weave your stitch, or weave your tail back in the opposite way. And then for good measure, I like to do it one more time. So I'm just going to go ahead and then once you feel like your end is secure, you're going to cut that end off. And again, you're going to be doing that for all the ends of your project. And then this is what the completed look is going to look like. You have the textured basket weave stitch with those front and back post double crochet stitches, and then you have that nice single crochet border just to end the round and make your blanket complete. If you wanted to add a different border, you can definitely do that. I just like using the single crochet border, as it makes a lot of my projects very complete and finalized. So let me get that blanket one more time to show you. So here's what that blanket looks like with all that texture to it. It's very comfy, cozy, and because you're using that bigger stitch, it makes it very airy. And I just like the texture and the look of this stitch. So thank you so much for joining me today on learning how to make the Basketweave Baby Blanket. I hope you enjoyed making today's project. Please like, comment, and subscribe to see all future videos by me. And as always, happy crocheting! Bye!